Here we go.
Program the computer. We create a mental atmosphere.
Fear not, my friends. This will be my greatest performance.
Give it to me.
Here we go. We came, we saw, we kicked it.
And we kicked it down the road to the weekend. Here we are with you on Mornings on the Beach.
Hello.
My name is Danny Lemos, and looking for that last-minute ticket to the Super Bowl, you might be in luck. Stay right here. Plus, how much are those NFL suites anyway? We'll get into that on the show. And joining me this morning,
this is Mike Stark, and after many false starts, a legendary rock band has decided to reunite.
Ooh. I'm Melanie Ray, and I interview with a local renowned businesswoman who you may have met.
oh, that's great. All of that stuff is coming up on the show today. But first, if I sound weary, it's because I am. Yikes. All this stuff, this man, I mean, did he get on and tweet anything about the Grammys?
No,
That he missed, I guess. He was too busy.
I saw a clip. I didn't watch it. Of Megyn Kelly went off on it.
Megyn Kelly went off on the Grammys?
Yeah. Well, she's a complete nut nowadays.
Oh, yeah. Well, if it's...
I mean, she used to be reasonable, and now she's just completely off over the edge.
I don't know. The whole thing is a circus to me. No less entertainment than, something like,
Right.
an NBC melodrama or comedy.
Yeah.
No less entertainment is the news. I mean, BBC is the only place I get anything I feel is close to good journalism. And that's
I don't
saying
watch any
something.
news. I watch all the late night comics, and I get all the news from that.
Yeah.
And they cover the important stuff.
Yeah, the Guardian was scolding journalists in the U.S., saying, you guys are the only people that could take this man to task for the stuff that he's doing regarding DEI. Would be to call it out, but everybody seems to sugarcoat it. Everyone's scared of what's happening next.
I think America is more misogynistic and racist than we thought.
Yeah.
And I remember when Kavanaugh, that whole deal, for the Supreme Court was when, of course, I have the privilege to have waited to be that age to notice it. But I watched the trials, and his victim, who was
Remember?
Yes, she's a psychiatrist, and she was explaining how her memory was. She told the memory that she had of the situation, the attempted rape, and then went and explained what a memory does in your brain, how you process an experience in your brain and how it's saved, and broke it down. And then he got up and said, "I love beer." And and if you are a woman, you totally get that, right?
Wow.
And that somehow we're accused of being emotional, and you can go to basically a job interview and profess your love for beer and still get the job.
Wow.
So starting at that, I started to realize, this misogyny thing is more intense than I thought. Yeah. And now here we are, and I think there are people who voted for him because it aligned with their tiny hate. Right. I hate immigrants. Yeah. I hate gay people. So I will vote for a guy who hates them too. And then they were able to ignore all these other terrible things about that person. And now they're upset about it. Oh, well, I didn't want him to end the visas to Indians.
Right.
I didn't want, if you were born in the country, you should be a citizen. Well, they want to change the birthright. I didn't want all these other things that come along with hate. I just wanted my specific one. And it doesn't work that way.
I just want my dishwasher without the 10% tariff on it.
Right.
Right.
I wonder how many people that are out there that have that way of thinking. I'm going to be nice about it. Would self-identify? Would they, if they said, "Do you think you're a racist?"
Oh no, they don't.
Of course not. And then you think to myself, well, this is what defines racism. Do you fit into those patterns? Whether that would be something they would still deny, because what Trump does is he just couches it as this is the way it works in my mind. So it's the way reality works, which is how he approaches everything. So I just wonder, are we 51% of us really racist? Are we that far down the road? Or is it just that people don't speak up? They're not saying what they really feel.
I think it's yes and yes.
Yeah.
I think that people were allowed to look at their one little isolated, I'm against abortion, and it's most likely to become illegal under this guy.
Right.
But then they were able to write off all these other atrocities that are going to go on. They've just sent the first group of immigrants to Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
That's what you voted for. And if that's a shock to you, then you were hiding under your own.
Right. And
I
of
don't
course,
even know.
the claims that it's only the bad ones, but then of course you're
course
finding
not.
all the stories now as journalists get closer and closer to the real people. These aren't criminals.
Well, for racists, they're all bad ones.
There we go. Do we? And then again, wait for 28.
Well,
get busy now.
The problem is, and it's become
can't wait.
really evident since the inauguration, is the Democrats are clueless, completely clueless.
Right.
They're not fighting back. They're not pushing back. They're not doing anything. They
Do you
send.
think it's because they don't know, or is it because they're just cowards?
I think they're cowards. They send Chuck Schumer out there, who is about as emotional as a fly crawling up a wall.
Right.
It just doesn't. It's not hitting with people.
RFK gets approved.
Yeah.
And the one guy who sits on the committee, a doctor, whose conscience bothered him about it, still voted yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in a position to say, we could really just turn the page on this one. And there were other candidates. Don't tell me there weren't.
No, it's not about skills.
Yeah, he even admits it. This is the legislator who was the last person on the committee to vote, and he could have sent it south, but he said, I really want to win re-election.
Yeah.
Right
Exactly.
there. And he said
You know what?
it.
F you.
I'll give him a little credit for saying it out loud, because at least he's saying what's true. But every person in Washington is protecting that job they waited forever to get. They're not interested in making this a better place to live.
Right.
So come on, folks. Come on, young folks. Step up.
Well, and of course, the joke being that Musk is scanning for DEI hires, any signs of DEI. That's the evil. And meanwhile,
Right.
absolutely incompetent, wealthy, rich people,
So
white people,
Yeah.
are getting these jobs.
And the message of that is really, you do not deserve the job you have. That's what they're saying to people about
Right.
these DEI. You don't deserve that job. You didn't earn
because
it.
you are of color,
And
a
the only-
female.
Yeah,
right.
And the only person saying that are them. This is not like, we didn't put that in out of a vacuum. That came after years and years and years and years of mistreatment of people who
Right.
were not included.
Intentionally.
No,
Right.
Exactly. Look in our recent history, just somebody that show up in a wheelchair would never get the job.
Right.
So there needed to be policies. And so they're saying to these people, you only got that job because you're in a wheelchair.
It's awful.
The wheelchair's not doing the job.
Right.
It's the person who's skilled and just has a disability. That's
Well, and then
one
look
example
at
only.
integration. Ruby Bridges is alive, right? Ruby Bridges is 60-something years old. It just happened.
Right.
It just happened where we needed the federal government to force places to integrate black and white children together. And now, that's supposed to be scrubbed from history books. And she's still alive.
Right.
So that fight wasn't won.
Yeah. And then this past week, the scrubbing of all the genders and the pronouns from federal employees' emails without their permission. They had no idea this happened to them overnight. Whoa, it's happening, folks.
It's happening, yeah.
It's happening, and little by little, inch by inch. First they came after my eggs. And
Yeah, right.
Well, in many ways.
Yeah, right. U.S. off my eggs.
Yeah, but this is, you cannot sit silent.
Well, AOC is posting updates on explaining what's going on, what's relevant, and it's a lot of information, and it's very emotional what's happening right now. But she's breaking it down into the fact that the blitzkrieg, and I mean that word, that's going on right now in the news, in the changing this, that it's also scary that people just freeze in their terror.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
AOC was addressing that, was like, that is understandable. Take a breath and let me tell you what's going on and what Democrats are doing to try to fight it. Mm-hmm. So I think that the key is finding your source. It's going to be harder now. Finding your source and trying to find out what's really happening and staying informed versus hopeless.
And it really does. You really have to stay up on it. And the conversation starting already. Does there need to be another party?
Already, that conversation should have started 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
But at this point now, it's like saying none of this fits us. None of this fits us anymore. How about back to things that make sense and take care of human beings, number one. And,
Right.
Maybe ahead of that, even take care of the planet. Because what happens if the planet's gone and there's lots of human beings left?
Yeah.
We know
We need
what
someone
happens.
from the humanist party.
There you go. I'm looking for the right word. That's a great word.
Yeah.
The humanist, but acting like a human. I'm watching the documentary on Netflix this week about Apollo 13 and listening to the astronauts talk about what their view of the Earth was and why. And over again, they would say, when we see this wonderful blue and white ball out there, we wonder why we can't live together. Because we
Right.
don't see the boundaries. We just see one big world. And of course, if you're faced against the infinite space out there and you got nothing else to cling to, Earth seems pretty friendly.
Yep.
But then we get closer and you see there's divisions and borders and all the other stuff that happens. So for Mornings on the Beach, I know that we brought you down.
But it's what's happening.
It is what's happening. And if you're thinking, what can I do? Well, our thing is to step up to the microphone because we have microphones and we have a voice.
Right.
Whatever you can do to impact your own world. And it doesn't have to be a large thing. Maybe if you help one mother who is dealing with her kids who were born here, but she wasn't, and so she's scared to death. Maybe
Right.
you help that one person.
Sure.
We circled around a member of our dog park group that's former DACA, and
Oh, yeah.
he's scared to death. But we
Yeah.
circled around, and I feel like, you can come hide in my attic if you need to.
No, absolutely.
I'm serious.
I'm
No.
serious too.
It's like, dude,
yeah. We're
if
there. We're there.
And what is that risk? Yeah, there's a risk. Sure. They could put me in prison. But, I won't go quietly. That's for sure.
Yeah, you'll always know what side I'm on. And it ain't this
absolutely.
side.
Okay. Oh, my God. After that, I think I need a break.
Well, how about a tune?
Excellent.
Great idea.
Who do you
Okay. Drive-by truckers. Armageddon's back in town.
got? What a great song.
That's a drive-by truckers and Armageddon's back in town.
It's
kind of appropriate.
It is.
Unfortunately.
And we have got a special guest who's waiting in studio. So I'm Danny Lemos, by the way. Over there is
Mike Stark.
and Melanie.
All right, we got Danny and Mike here.
Hi there.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Kirsten Kansteiner from the Long Beach Art Theater and a bunch of other things.
Hey, welcome
Yeah.
to the show.
Okay.
Welcome to Mornings on the Beach. I have so many questions, but we'll let Melanie start off.
Well,
Okay.
I wanted to talk to Kirsten about the art theater because I think it's just amazing to have a private, what do you call it? A privately owned historical theater on 4th Street in
Yeah,
Long Beach is
absolutely.
just amazing.
Well, we're not actually privately owned anymore because we are a nonprofit. So
Okay.
the
Oh, that's
theater
great.
is
Excellent.
a 501c3. So the people own the art theater.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Well, it's so
Yeah,
cool that I
so
own an art theater in Long Beach.
What
So
did it-
in 2013, we became a nonprofit, and we've been operating under a board since then.
That's really fantastic. So let's go back
Yeah.
a bit because you've been involved in this community, especially the east side of the community, for a long time. Your history,
Sure, yeah.
Start with your beginning of your very first store here in Long Beach.
Well, I opened Portfolio Coffee House
There you go.
in 1990. So it's been a hot minute. Portfolio operated for almost 32 years
Yeah.
out of the same location there, and we've since then kind of evolved into a new location called Alder and Sage, just a block away, still on 4th Street, still the same neighborhood.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That 4th Street corridor, such a great place.
Yeah.
And the restaurant
Yeah.
you have, such a great place. A former daycare, wasn't it daycare before you guys
Yes,
over there?
yes, it was a daycare. Yes.
Fantastic. And how long did it take to renovate it? Because it just feels so bright in there.
It did not. I mean, we didn't really do much to the building other than kind of build out a kitchen and made the bathrooms compliant. But the space was as open as it is. The building was as it is. It is kind of like a probably late 50s, 60s streamlined modern building. and it was just kind of like this little hidden gem right over here on Cherry and 4th Street.
Right. You moved from Junipero and 4th down to, am I saying that right, Melanie?
Depends on who you are. I say
I
Juan
know,
Apparel.
that is a whole
That's a whole thing. That's a whole episode.
And up the street to near Cherry and on Cherry. And of course, everyone will forever call that corner at 4th and Junipero portfolio. No matter what it ever becomes.
I do.
It's always be portfolio. across our catty corner, from portfolio there. So you had a long history there. And then here at Alder and Sage, it's a different menu and a different ambiance and a feel? Or is it pretty much maintained the same? I know the menu is different, right?
Yeah, so what we did is we combined forces. We closed Berlin Bistro. That was our downtown location, and literally moved both staffs over in this new place. So the menu leaning on the Berlin menu, and then our coffee knowledge from portfolio.
That's great.
And then most of our baristas are still from portfolio, and we have a few kitchen folks. They're still with us as well. So it was kind of just great, post-pandemic to simplify and kind of, make it a little smaller and, little less is more.
And of course, everybody's figured out you moved because you just wanted to move up the street. But there's nobody in that space. It's too expensive?
I know.
Well, that's a story.
Oh, that's another story?
That's a
Okay.
story.
It's a story.
Yeah.
It's another story, yeah.
Our listeners will want that story, but we'll get it later from you.
Okay.
At Alder and Sage, though, the feeling when you walk in there, and now I recognize why, it's the Berlin menu that I recognize. Mm-hmm. But the feel, if you ever want a good morning, man, go in there for a cup of coffee and a swiff of whatever's coming off the bakery, man. It smells incredible in there. And they're dog friendly.
Yes, we're dog friendly.
We like that.
We have a side entrance. They're not actually, believe it or not too many places on Long Beach. You would think Southern California, there's all kinds of outdoor seating and dog friendly, but not possible everywhere. We were lucky enough that we had the side entrance, so you can actually go straight to the patio. Typically, patios are like behind the restaurant, so you would have to bring your pet through the restaurant, which is not legal in California. We were fortunate enough that we have a side entrance, and then you can just go straight through to our patio. And everyone in Long Beach loves their pets, so we're happy to accommodate them.
We got our studio dog right at Melanie's feet.
Yes, we do.
Boomer's in here.
We do.
He loves that place. I love Alder and Sage. I go there all the time. For the art theater, though, that building, the history of that building, where is it declared a historical building in Long Beach?
Yes, it is. Yes. It's a historic building. We applied many years ago for the Mills Act. So it's historically listed, built in 1924, but didn't open until 1925. And we literally had a week and a half ago, we had our 100-year opening celebration.
Wow.
So 100 years ago, we screened our first film. We tried to find the same film. Unfortunately, there is no copy of the film.
What was it?
In existence. It was called The Sirens of Seville. And there are fragments still available in Amsterdam in a museum. We contacted them, and they said it's not a full film anymore. Has never been digitized, so we can't even show it anymore because we're not a digital movie theater anymore. So
no kidding.
But we in 2009, 10 maybe, we had to switch from film to digital because films are, really not made
on film.
At least for 10, 15 years, on celluloid. And now there's some directors, again, here and there, but in general, not so much anymore.
That's fantastic. You said celebration, and one of my favorite celebrations happens every year around Oscar time.
Yeah.
What a party.
Yes.
Say more about that for those who aren't aware what happens at the Art Theater for Oscars.
Okay. So it is our biggest fundraiser. I mean, it's kind of in the movie industry. That is the night where everyone comes out and and celebrates, and Academy Awards, the films are being announce who is the winner, and we kind of take that date to have our own little party. You get to dress up, you get to dress down, you can come as a movie character, which has become more popular in years, and we just screen the Academy Awards live at the Art Theater and then have a fun party around it. So
it is really fun.
There's tons of... Say that again?
I said it's really fun. Everybody comes dressed up. Oh my God, it's fun.
And there's a red carpet.
There's a red carpet, there's a photographer, you win prizes, we have a ballot, so you're encouraged to, hopefully fill out your ballot, vote with us, and then we choose the winners, and then you win a prize. There are lots of businesses are participating, and then we typically do a silent auction, and in the past 2 years now, we are now doing our silent auction. It's an online auction as well, so you can literally already bid on items today.
Stay home
the
in your
link
pajamas.
was released yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And you can kind of look at prizes and bid on it and kind of help us out. We're, experiencing another challenge, so pretty soon in the future, we thought we, done well. We purchased our digital projector in 2010, and now Sony is not making parts anymore.
Oh,
so
no.
we have to, and they're completely leaving the industry. Just so we need to, in the next year or so, buy a new projector. So that's our goal for the future.
We want to keep that theater alive, so get out there. Now, I know you typically also sell out, right? So where do people find out about getting tickets?
So we have a very nice website. Our ticket links are on the arttheaterlongbeach.org website.
Excellent.
Or if you are an Instagram or Facebook person, they're at Art Theater Long Beach. Tickets are on our Instagram link as well.
That's great. That's excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as someone who's obviously involved in what's going on the 4th Street Row, Retro Row there, and any other things coming up into your future? Any other restaurants? Any other a taco truck?
Good Lord, no. Oh my gosh.
Alders and Sage on wheels. It's wild.
No, this is like the biggest. I mean, it's like still, coming back to the roots and just opening, almost 2 years ago, opening a new business on 4th and Cherry was a big undertaking, especially after the pandemic. And
Right.
It just feels like it's a heavy lift, and I'm forever grateful. I think the community is taking well to it, and we just appreciate being here, and just giving jobs to people and making folks happy, whether it's a cup of coffee or avocado toast.
My personal recommendation.
It feels great.
My personal recommendation is always when people come from out of town. Where do I go? Where do I go? Go right there. I said, you're going to love it.
Right.
It's so Long Beach.
It is so Long Beach.
It is, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It is so Long Beach, right? It is.
Yeah, so it's a nice...
kind of very community oriented, and it's great to, to be like, a destination even a couple times a week. If you just want a cup of coffee and you sit outside by the fire pit, or you come with friends and share, a table, I think both work for us, and it's nice, to see when folks come often, and makes us feel good.
Yeah, it's a great place to feel good. But when are you going to open for dinner?
Oh, good question. We are dabbling in later, like a happy hour. Clearly it's too cold right now,
It's
but
true.
in the spring, summertime, we will try out again, like, an evening hour. So we're working with our chef on that. And we're looking forward to be open in the evenings again.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we're going to do like a full-on dinner setting, but I think, there's still room for small bites and beer, wine, coffee in the evenings, and then sitting by a fire pit.
I had a couple friends that went to some event that was connected from Alder and Sage, and then a film at the Art.
Oh.
Right?
Yes.
You did. What was that? Or are you doing more of those?
Yes, we've done quite a few, and some of them are actually connecting also with other stores on the street. So we frequently do events with Kitchen Lingo, which is a culinary bookstore on the street.
Yeah.
Right.
And or Bel Canto, another bookstore, or Ola Vache. And it kind of lends itself. So we've done a book signing with Ruth Reichel. We've screened the film there because she had a new book coming out and a documentary come out. So we screened the film there, and then prior or afterwards had a full dinner seating. We've done the same thing in the mornings. We've done, I think it was Nosferatu, a silent film.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
So, so there are all kinds of opportunities to just here and there, just kind of when we know that something big is coming up, to kind of collab together and do an event together. So we're definitely going to do that in the future.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, we got to come in there and do a live broadcast, mornings on the beach from Alders and Sage. Wouldn't it be great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring our dogs,
God.
and we'll
Wow.
bring our dogs.
It would be awesome. I'd love to do that. Are you kidding?
Is that technically possible to
Yep.
do a live? That's
Yep.
fantastic.
We'll talk about it. We'll get in touch with you.
You're talking to the right guy.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay,
I would
all right.
love to do
Yeah.
that. That'd be what better place for a weekend morning show, right? Be right there.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today on our show.
Thanks, Kirsten.
Oh my God. Thank you for having me. It's so sweet for you guys to reach out and hope to be here for many more years.
Absolutely.
Give the website where people can find out more about both the Art Theater and Alders and Sage.
So we don't have it combined, but you can always go to arttheaterlongbeach.org for any film or event. We actually have, in March, open programming coming up, so anybody can rent the art theater, or we're showing a lot of indie films right after Oscar season, or go to aldersage.com. We're always here for you with your reservation. Celebrate birthdays with us. We're there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Well, enjoy your weekend.
Thank you so much,
Thanks
guys.
a lot,
I
Kat.
appreciate
Take care.
you.
Well, I think this is an appropriate tune, talking about the movie theaters and all of that. Here's the Kinks and Celluloid Heroes.
Do you own an historic property or live in an historic district? The City of Long Beach offers tax savings through the Mills Act for preserving and maintaining the historic character of your property. Attend a pre-application workshop Saturday, January 25th, 10 a.m. to noon, in person or online. To find out more, email for info millsact@longbeach.gov or call 562-570-6194. That's 570-6194.
Your community radio station, 99.1 FM, KLBP, Long Beach Public Radio.
It's mornings on the beach for your Saturday, Sunday morning. I feel a little better after that music, getting away from all the stuff on the day. But a great interview earlier. But in the show, by the way, we talked earlier in one of our previous episodes about a new show that was filmed in Long Beach. Mike, actually, you brought it to our attention.
Yeah, On Call.
On Call on NBC. It's one of those...
No, it's on Amazon Prime, isn't it?
Oh, that's right. It's not on NBC. It looks like an NBC Dick Wolf show. That's why I said
Right.
that. However, the creators of that show decided Long Beach was a great place to set it. And so if you've watched it, you may want to join this event that's coming up next Wednesday. And this is the creators of the show are going to be taking questions at a screening Wednesday night. And it's produced by Dick Wolf. It's 7 o'clock at the Culver Theater. 7 o'clock at the Culver Theater in Culver City. The question and answer session will follow the two shows. Damn it. A question and answer session will follow with the show's two creators, Tim Walsh and Elliot Wolf, who's Dick Wolf's son. But we've seen it, Mike. What was your immediate reaction?
Well, I thought it was great. The action scenes are excellent, but whenever they get into the drama part of it, I thought the writing was a little.
It's stilted. That's for sure. But
Too bad they're not doing the event at the Art. the Q&A.
Yeah, right here. Why wouldn't they?
Here. It's right here.
They filmed it, but the funny parts for me are when they're cruising down Ocean Boulevard and the camera looks out the right-hand side of the car and you see the yoga on the beach, which is totally, wow, that's so Long Beach. And then the camera pulls to the other angle looking out the other window and it's Anaheim Street. Right. It's like, there's a match. Or they go call to Shoreline and Third or something, and there's no such corner.
I wonder why they do that.
I don't know. Maybe they figured not enough people care.
Yeah, the regular people at home that don't live in Long Beach, they don't know any better.
But if you want to
go, the regular people who do live in Long Beach?
And
correct.
The shocker for me, Mike didn't even tell me that the show contained Lori Loughlin is appearing in Lieutenant Bishop, and she's back after that admissions scandal, huh? Back at work.
You barely recognize her.
Yeah, you're right. Did she have something done? I wonder. Who knows? However, it was shot, they say, almost entirely in Long Beach, with brief appearances by Seal Beach and San Pedro. They're guest starring in the show, those two cities. That's what it says right here. I'm reading from the article about it. But yeah, so Wednesday night, if you want to go ask them why they do that, why aren't you accurate? Maybe it's production or maybe it's editing, who knows? But that's happening on Wednesday night, and you can get all involved in that.
When I was coming home from recording the other day, they had a whole street almost blocked off filming on Broadway.
Yeah, you're right. And
and
you know what I love about those wonderful sites where they have all the production vehicles is the smell of the barbecue. There's always
we can't have.
Yeah, exactly. But yesterday, here's the deal. Yesterday, they were rained out, apparently. And I saw the barbecue. So I thought, what if I stopped and asked if I could have some? What are they going to do with the food if the actors didn't show up, right? Well,
I always wondered if you just walked around with a clipboard or an iPad and just took what you wanted. Like,
I agree. I think you'd probably be able to get fed or sit down and have lunch. They probably wouldn't even know.
Confidence in a template is worth a lot.
Oh, it sure is. That is great, Melody. But in other news around town, our I hate to say the word president, but I'll have to. That's who it is. And he is all about us being respected, right? And so I thought, I wanted to give you some phrases, and maybe he could take note if he's listening to Mornings on the Beach. If he is listening to Mornings on the Beach, we're in trouble.
We're doomed.
Yeah.
Well, if he is listening, we'll find out.
And respect, he's right about one thing, that respect is crucial for interpersonal relations, as it improves self-worth and facilitates understanding. However, if you
said that?
This is in an article by Lakeisha Fleming in verywellmind.com about this subject. And she's explaining some of the research that she's read about people and how they get respect. And she noticed there are some common phrases that help you. One is, I'm sorry. Any apology it helps. Please allow me to finish what I was saying when somebody interrupts you. I am not comfortable with this topic or action. I'm going to memorize that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your perspective. Now allow me to share mine, which is great if the Jehovah's Witness comes to the door. I need time to think about this decision, which can help anybody. And this is my favorite. This violates my boundaries. But be careful, because it could lead you to the conversation, well, what are those boundaries?
I was at a kind of local get-together networking kind of thing the other day, and a woman said to me, this is the era of hearing people, so let me finish.
Oh, really?
It stopped me. It absolutely stopped me. I was like, oh, okay.
Speaking of stopping people, you could use this one, and this one is double-edged, kind of. If you say to somebody, this is what I expect from you. It depends on how you say that, right? Yeah. And my favorite, and I use it a lot lately, I'm not able to commit to that. I'm sorry.
Oh, I use that. That's my favorite too.
Yeah. And don't
Here's
explain.
another one that you use a lot, Danny.
Yeah.
So noted.
And Michael's, he's absolutely right. And that is when you get a 20-page email. What do you say? I just put noted. In other words, I read
Right.
it, and I know this, so thank you very much. But the weekend is the big weekend, the big game, right? That's coming up on Sunday.
The big game. I'm going to say it. You can bleep me.
Okay.
Go ahead. Put a bleep in there.
Hey, we're walking the edge today, folks. But coming up next on the show, we're going to be talking about, are you looking for those last minute tickets for the Super Bowl?
What kind of bowl?
It's a
Yay! And this song will take us to it, right, Mike?
yeah. This is the Tubes and sports
Perfect.
fans.
That was such an appropriate song for this weekend. The big, say it again. Weekend right here. Mornings on the beach. I'm Daddy. He's Mike. She is
Melanie Ray.
over there. And if you're looking for last minute tickets to the Super Bowl, well, you can get some. How much are you expected to shell out? Well, Vivid Seats resale prices go for anywhere between $2,800 and $5,000 for one seat. So you're really going to have to want to go watch the game. And I always think it's better to watch from at home. There's so much
of course.
digital technology that helps you, but I guess it's about being there, right? And the average household, by the way, watching the Super Bowl from their couch is expected to spend $142. From snacks to fan gear. Wow. Can you? I don't spend any money on that.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
No.
But
Chips.
But let's just say you're a big roller and you want to head to one of those suites. How much do you think you could get one of those concierge suites for? How much do you think they cost? Any guesses?
10 grand.
I was going to say 10. Yeah.
I laugh at you. No. Right now, if you wanted it today, okay, we're talking about if you're here listening to this on Saturday, you can get it for $500,000.
Whoa!
Yes, and some of the suites went for as high as $3 million.
Oh.
Yeah, to who, I wonder? Probably pharmaceutical companies. That's the only people with money that can afford that.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something else to do in Long Beach this weekend, I want to mention the You Run This Town Foundation, a 5K that's happening on Shoreline Village from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock Saturday. Alamitos Beach is where that's happening. And on Saturday, the KLBP will be at the DTL. The DLBA Design District Art Fair. And it's going to be all over downtown, 4th Street, 3rd Street.
Oh, yeah.
You can't miss it. But we're going to be right in front of Shannon's if you're coming to that. But if you're looking for something on Sunday, you got plenty to do with the game, so you don't need. But before that, you want to listen. We got something
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We got Bill Ward is part 2 of Bill Ward's best of his show that he and I did for about 20 years. But the big news regarding Bill Ward is that he's going to be reuniting with his band Black Sabbath in July for the last performance.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Wow.
Let me ask you this. Are you going to be there?
No, I'm not.
No, you're kidding. Oh, well.
No. It's
Yeah.
in Birmingham, England. So
It gives you a free ticket to be worth it.
yeah, I think I'll pass on that.
All right. And speaking of pass, we got to get out of here and pass on.
Yep.
So we'll take us out with a Black Sabbath song.
Yeah, this is one of their more calm songs. It's called Changes.